Hello, Lateral here, and we're back today on F1 2020. And as you can see, we are here at Russia for round 11 of the XRS season. Last week in Vietnam, we had a very good race, and we managed to bring the gap to our championship rival, Formula 125, down to just 8 points, and we actually managed to take the lead of the Constructors' Championship. So very good race overall, but this championship fight is still going to go down to the wire. But as you can see in qualifying now, it's fully wet here. We're on the full wet tire. We cut on to the end of the first lap that we actually managed to do. That was actually a decent lap. And it took quite a while to get in the groove in the wet conditions. But we managed to do it eventually and find some sort of grip and consistency. But we're on our final lap now in this session. We're going to have time for this lap and this lap only, pretty much. Braking into turn 2 using the red and white curbs, and on the exit we get a big snap of oversteer, but we managed to keep it in a straight line. Turn 3 is not flat, it's so easy to spin in the wet. We get a big snap of oversteer, we get another huge snap of oversteer, nearly spin but we just about keep it on the track. And now exiting turn 4 into turn 5, and we've taken it pretty nicely so far, avoiding the exit curb, but we still get wheel spin regardless because the conditions are very difficult in these full wet conditions. Into this corner then, and just short shifting into 5th gear. It's so easy to get oversteer in the wet. You just have to be patient with the car, basically doing everything way more smoothly and gradually than what you would do in the dry. Obviously no DRS in these full wet conditions. But heading down this straight and into this corner then, it's a purple second sector, and into here then, it's a pretty good braking zone. We set ourselves up nicely for this corner, and on the exit we avoid the outside curb, which is ideal. And now heading into this chicane using the red and white curbs and the red and white curbs only. Now exiting the chicane, we are 4/10ths up on our previous time, but into this corner we go massively out wide and we lose so much time that we gained, and it's only going to be a 1/10th improvement on this lap. So it's provisional pole at the moment, and it was enough for pole position in the end here. So we got lucky that no one else improved enough to beat it. But as we get a free choice of tire to start the race on, because it was a wet qualifying session, we have decided to start on the medium tire. A couple people behind us are on the softs, and then a couple more behind them on the mediums here, so it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top for the start here. But the 5 lights are on, it's lights out and let's go racing here, and Mickey Man gets an absolute rocket ship start on the soft compound tire. We're using a lot of the battery just to try and stick with him. There's a Mercedes driver on the right having a look down the inside, but we're going defensive for Chris D. The Mercedes driver has a look down the inside for a gap that simply didn't exist pretty much, and he ends up spinning himself out because there's no way 3 wide would have worked that late into the corner. But we managed to keep the position from Chris D. I think he actually got an illegal overtake and had to let us by, but then he immediately got the position back there. So we're in P3. It's been a pretty bad start because we dropped back 2 positions, and I expect Mickey Man to be pulling away massively here. But the safety car has been deployed in the early stages of this race here. So that's a huge changing factor in this race, because even though we've had a bad start and Mickey Man was able to pull away massively, he's going to have to pretty much concede that gap as the safety car is out and the whole field is going to bunch up once again. But our teammate is currently behind us, Team 4, P4, and behind him is Formula 125, who's actually gone into the pit lane, because I do think he picked up damage from some incident on lap 1, so he had to pit for a new front wing. But we skip on to the end of this safety car, and we're about to restart this race here. Going to see when Mickey Man goes. He goes now, so going through and exiting the final corner. We now restart this race, the green flags wave, and ahead we still have F1XS Chris D, and ahead of him Mickey Man 101 on the soft tire. At this stage of the race, we want to get ahead of Chris D because he is in fact on the same strategy as us as we get our first warning. Just a silly mistake there, unfortunate. But as I was saying, we do want to get ahead of Chris D because we are both on the same strategy. So if I manage to get in front of him, I will be the lead medium runner at this stage of the race. So it's crucial that we try and get ahead of him as we head through this corner, now exiting it, and the gap to him is just half a second. So if we're able to close up on this lap or maybe next lap and then try for an overtake down the straight, that will put us in a pretty good position in this race, in the early stages of this race here. As we head down this long back straight, just slightly curved with a little kink, we're just pulling in the gap here. So clearly we're either faster in a straight line with this setup, or we're using more of the battery power. And even so, we're not using much of the battery at all. We still have 79-80% battery to play with. So we still have plenty of ERS to use if we want to try and make this overtake happen. Heading into the penultimate corner, the gap to Christie in front of us is 4/10. As Mickey Man sets the fastest lap, he's just going to pretty much pull away on this first stint because his softs at this stage of the race are so much faster. But as we skip on to the start of lap 6, Formula 125 steals the fastest lap, and we're going to go for a move on Christie in the Renault. We have a look down the inside, and going into the braking zone, we brake later, and we manage to keep it on the exit, and we get the move done. So it's crucial that we got that done, but we did have to use a lot of battery trying to get that move done. But skipping on to the start of lap 9, we managed to recover some of the battery, and behind us we have our teammate who is also on the softs. And if he does go for the move, I'm not going to defend it, and you can see he's going for it now. There's no reason to try and hold him up, as we are both on different strategies, and at this stage of the race, Chazzy Man is definitely going to be faster than us. So letting him by, it's very important to know what to do as a team, when to defend, when to push, when to let the other car by, because now what we can do here is we can work together to try and pull away maybe from Formula 125, but even if we don't, we can definitely defend from Formula 125, make his job a whole lot harder here. So as we're exiting this corner now, just about to enter the back straight, and we're going to have the DRS of our teammate. The good thing is that now that we are behind our teammate, he can basically pull us along, as he is going to be faster at this stage of the race, so we can save fuel, save ERS, and have DRS and the slipstream, so that it makes our job, if we do have to defend from Formula 125, it makes our job a whole lot easier having our teammate up in front to help us out. Now exiting this chicane, teammate gets a bit of oversteer, but it's all good. Now entering the penultimate corner, and we will have the DRS from Chazzy Man up ahead. Formula 125 behind us is just 4/10 behind now. I'm going to use a little bit of the battery, but not much. And you can see our teammate Chazzy Man giving us the slipstream here, because Formula 125 is going to go for a move. So trying to keep the position as a team here, and going into the turn 2, we make slight contact. Formula 125 goes off the track, and going through turn 3, I think he's going to have to give that place back, as he overtook off the track after we made slight contact. And you can see he is conceding position, and now we can get back underway. We are in P2, and Formula 125 will definitely try and go for the move once again, and this time he will try and make the move stick on track. So we still have to be quite wary of what he will do behind, and we have to be aware of when he will be going for a move and when he won't be. And now we are actually outside of the DRS from Chazzy Man up ahead of us, so we're going to have to try and catch up a bit. But Formula 125 is going for the move once again here. We actually cut the corner because we were just trying to leave space, but we cut a bit too much, and you're about to see that we just spin on our own. No, I don't know how that happened, but we just completely spun on our own, just a silly mistake, but the safety car has been deployed as soon as we spun out after losing that position. And right now, pretty much everyone ahead of us, well yes, everyone ahead of us is going to be making a pit stop here. And you can see we're sticking with our current strategy. So even though we spun out, it didn't do any harm to our race as we timed the spin perfectly. Not like you want to spin on purpose, but we did spin at a good time, I guess. And we managed to lose no time at all, and we didn't get damaged luckily. But the race is now underway once again. We've got myself P1, Chazzy Man P2, and Formula 125 P3. Those guys behind have all made their pit stop onto fresh mediums, so defending from them is going to be pretty difficult. As you can see, Robrot and Formula 125 on the position counter, swapping positions back and forth. They are battling for position. But as we cut onto the middle of lap 15 here, you can see our teammate very close behind us once again. And once again, we're going to play the team game here, and we're not going to defend from it because we are on 15 lap old mediums, and he is on fresh mediums here. So he's definitely going to be faster. And once again, we can use his slipstream and work together as a team to help defend from Formula 125 behind us. And now, starting lap 17, and you saw on the radio, we confirmed to box this lap. Formula 125 has a look around the outside, but he's unable to make the move. We actually get a warning, another silly mistake on the exit of that corner there, but heading through turn 3 now. And we're, as I said earlier, we are going to box this lap for softs. It's going to be interesting to see if we're able to regain the gap here. But as we head through this corner, we get another 3-second time penalty. So at this stage of the race, we have 6 seconds. But that warning that we got before we right before we spun, as we enter the pit lane. So as I was saying, that warning that I got before spinning out, just before spinning out, when Formula 125 overtook us, I was confident at this stage of the race that I could get that removed, and that would bring my penalty count down to 3 seconds. So I don't know for 100% if that warning will get removed. So at this stage of the race, we do still have to push on as if we had 6 seconds. And we're now exiting the pit lane now. It's going to be a charge to the end of the race. We know it's possible. We've done it before in round 8 of this season in Mexico, but I know that it's going to be much more difficult in this race because we have a lot more ground to cover here. Now skipping on to the start of lap 21, heading into turn 2, and the safety car has been deployed here, and that's a huge changing factor in this race because it allows us to catch back up to the field. But you can see the leading pack that we were fighting before we made our pit stop have all pitted for fresh, brand new soft tires, so that is going to give them the upper hand in the closing stages of this race here. We decided to stay out because we just had too much ground to cover if we made another pit stop. So we decided to stay out. Thinking back to it, I think maybe I should have pitted for new softs, just maybe, but still not 100% sure if that would have been the correct decision to make. But we are catching up to the safety car queue now. We are the lead soft runner. Granted, we are on pretty old soft tires. We pitted on lap 17, so they're 4 or 5 lap old soft tires. But heading into this corner, I'm just going to let this play out. And you can see that we collided with the Mercedes ahead, and we got a 5-second time penalty, which is a pretty dumb penalty, honestly. And I'm confident that that will also get removed because it's just a silly system that the game has, that there's nothing we can do about it to change in-game, but we can get it removed by the stewards after the race. The restart is a go now, and green flags are waving here. We are P3 currently as it stands, and now heading into turn 2 as the green flags wave, and the we make a huge dive bomb on the Mercedes driver of LQNDYN, and that's a crucial move because that puts someone in between ourselves and the soft runners behind, and that Mercedes behind us is on hard tires, so he's going to be super slow. As you can see, he's already being overtaken by a lot of the soft runners, and now we're heading into this corner right here. We have Rob ahead of us on the mediums. He's got 26 seconds of penalties here, so he's not going to be a threat for the win with that many penalties at this stage of the race. So we're going to try and get past him as soon as possible if we can. And now heading down this straight, we're not using much of the battery at all because we don't want to waste too much if we have to defend from anyone behind us. So heading through this sequence of corners, and the soft runners right behind have caught up. So at this stage of the race, Rob is pretty much holding all of us up because he's on who knows how many lap old mediums and we're all on the soft tire. So at this stage of the race, we've just formed a big train here with a bunch of soft tire runners, and we're all pretty much faster than him at this stage of the race. So right now I'm going to try and get the move done on him so we can possibly pull a gap, because going into turn 2 now, we have a look around the outside, but Rob brakes way later and we get the switchback move. We're going to go around the outside at turn 3, holding the overtake button throughout the entire corner, going into turn 4 then, and Rob keeps the position. He closes the door on us, so we have compromised line, and Mickey Man behind us is going to have a look around the outside of turn 5. We keep the position for now, but Mickey Man's still alongside us. We get a bit of oversteer. Formula 125 has a look down the middle, but he can't make it 3 wide. Going through turn 6, and Mickey Man goes off the track slightly wide, and now through turn 7, this time it is us that go wide, and now into turn 8, and we make incredibly slight contact with Formula 125, and that was really, really strange because that contact was barely even a tap, and it nearly sent me into a spin. So right now I've just lost out massively from this battle, and now we're all the way down from P2 down to P5, lost a huge number of positions here. So it was frustrating because Rob really wasn't a challenger for the race win with that many penalties. So the fact that he defended really hard, obviously fair racing, but we lost out a bit from it, so it was frustrating at that stage of the race. So we have to try and regain some ground here after a very tough but clean and fun battle, and now into turn 2. And we try and brake late, but Remus Tub brakes later, but we do indeed get the better exit, trying to make up lost ground as soon as possible here, so we can get into a battle once again with the guys ahead and try and make up positions with just 2 laps left of this race. So heading into turn 5, and we have Remus Tub just 4 tenths ahead of us, and now heading into turn 6, and we're going to try and get this move done as soon as possible, as I said. So possibly we might be able to get it on the back straight as we're about to come up on that straight now. We will have the DRS, and up ahead you can see a couple of guys battling. That's Formula 125 and Rob battling very hard there. So we're going to head into this braking zone, and those two are still fighting at it for position. I think Formula 125 just about ended that battle as we have a big snap of oversteer. We nearly spun twice at the same corner, and that would not have been good as we would have lost even more ground. We get another big oversteer. So these soft tires may be going off, maybe the dirty air affecting us, maybe a combination of both, as Mickey Man steals the fastest lap from us. And as we start the final lap now, I doubt we'll be able to retake that fastest lap. So that's 2 points that we've lost out on in this race. But heading into turn 2, we're going to have a look down the inside, turns to the outside, but we're not able to get a move done there. But through turn 3, we have a much better exit once again, and we have a look down the inside this time, and we get the move done. up ahead, we have Robrot once again. We're going to try and get the overtake done on him so that we can make up even more ground on the guys ahead. So heading through turn 5 now, exiting turn 5, Robrot went massively out wide, so clearly struggling on his mediums now on the final lap of this race. And now heading through this corner, and we're very close to Robrot. As he taps the wall slightly, you can see sparks flying off there. We have the DRS now. We're using the overtake for a split second there, but we're a bit too far and our engine is overheated, so we can't make a move here. And now into this third sector, and we're very close to Robrot, but there's really no good overtaking opportunities through the third sector, so there's nothing we can do at this stage. We're pretty much just a sitting duck to the guys ahead, so we have to hope for the best and hope that we get as many positions as possible with these penalties. But the checkered flag waves, and as we cross the line, we're P4. We're P4 with the penalties at this stage, but crucially, Formula 125 finishes 22 thousandths of a second behind us here. So that may well and truly be a deciding factor in this championship fight. Currently we are P4, but if we do get those 2 penalties removed, then we will be P2. Currently I do not have an update from the stewards as to whether or not those penalties got removed. Hopefully I'll have an update next week for the next round of this championship in Japan. But at this current stage, I do not have an update on whether or not those penalties got removed. But overall, it could have been a better race from us, finishing P4. Maybe those penalties get removed and we finish P2, but we'll have to see. But guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, as I post F1 content 3 times per week, Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.